How do you keep learning tech and data when life is busy? I'm talking family, work, school, responsibilities. Yet, you still want to grow, you still want to develop in tech. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Models and Mindset, a tech podcast with Ben. And today, we have this very important topic to discuss. In some of my engagements, especially with the working class and students, some of the things that I get, in fact, the paramount of them all, is the fact that they find it very difficult balancing work and then learning tech. Some of these people have whatever, they have the desire to really learn, but to balance the two becomes a problem. By the end of this episode, I want you to take with you a very simple system that you can plug into your life that can make learning tech consistent and sustainable. If you've ever bought a course and you never finished it, or you told yourself, I'm going to start learning a particular tech, let's say data science, let's say regular Excel, I'm going to get into web development, and you never started, this episode is for you. Now, let's talk about why people generally struggle with learning tech or even getting started with tech because of your busy life. Truth of the matter is that it is not about motivation or the fact that you are lazy. Far from that. There are some 4 basic things that I think makes people struggle. The first one is that people are genuinely tired. Imagine I stay at Dodowa, I leave the house at 5 a.m. and go to Accra, I go to the office, I close and return home around 8:30. I would be tired. Getting started with learning obviously would be difficult for me because I wouldn't have enough energy to keep going. That is one. Now, people also overestimate the time that they have available to learn. For instance, if I have just 20 minutes or 30 minutes to study in a day, I wouldn't have to tell myself I have 2 hours or I have 3 hours. That is going to make it really, really difficult. People also try to learn in random bursts instead of breaking things down into a system. Last but not least, life is just life. It happens, right? You have unforeseen circumstances, emergencies, you have kids, you have deadlines, and of course, general stress of life. So, the problem you see isn't about motivation. It is more of design. We usually plan, our learning all around a version of us that does not exist. So by the end of this episode, we are going to design a system for the real us, a system that is going to work for the tired and then sometimes stressed version of ourselves. Before we get into the system, there are 4 core principles that I want us to appreciate. The first one is the fact that consistency is better than intensity. Why do I say this? It is not all about deciding that today I'm going to learn 2 hours. The fact that I cannot keep the 2 hours throughout the week or for 3 days is a problem. So it is better to do 30 days or 30 minutes a day, all right, for 4 days than to binge learn for 6 hours, 1 day in a month. That is not very good for learning. Tech is actually like going to the gym, right? You need that progressive upload, the progressive workout that trains your body that, okay, today we are doing this, tomorrow we are doing that, and so your body gradually adjusts and then learns. That is more sustainable, right? The second thing I want us to appreciate is the fact that we need to do what we call a minimum viable session. This is what a minimum viable session means. It means that you plan that in a day, whichever particular day that you are free, you are only going to do 20 minutes or 30 minutes. That is the minimum amount of time that you are going to study. You are not going to go beyond it. If you have enough time and you have enough energy, yes, you can go beyond it. But you set that time period that this is the time I have on my hands. I'm not going to go below it. I'm not going to go above it. But as and when you have open period, you definitely increase it. Third is to decide once and not decide every day. This is what I mean. If I tell myself that I'm going to learn on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, this is what it means. On a Sunday, I'm going to plan exactly what I will do each day. I will not wait for Monday before I ask myself exactly what I'm going to learn. Or I wouldn't wait for Wednesday before I ask myself exactly what I'm going to learn. Right? I'm going to plan each day on a Sunday so that before the day comes, I already know exactly what I need to do. Last is seasons and not perfection. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect at whatever it is that you are learning. The goal is to capitalize on each season so that even when you are not in the mood or when you are so tired, you still have that minimum viable time, the 20 minutes or the 30 minutes that you set aside to work, right? So that on the days where you have enough time, you will still be able to make more room for it. Now, having gone through these 4 principles, let's now look at how we can actually design a system that can fit and then that you can adopt and then plug into your daily routine. I want you to think of these as 4 major steps. The first one is the fact that you need to plan the week. The second one is to block the time. The third one is to design your session. And then the fourth one is to track and review your progress. Let's take it one after the other and break it down. Step 1, planning the week. This is what I will do. On a given Sunday, I'll sit down and ask myself, as the week is beginning, which of the days do I actually have open? And for how long do I have in the day? Do I have 20 minutes? Do I have 30 minutes? Or I have an 1 hour free time for me to study? This is what you ask yourself. Then you answer the questions, the days, and then the time that you have available. The last question that you have to ask yourself is, what exactly will I work on these days? So I will tell myself that I'm going to finish module 1 of this Python course, or I'm going to finish module 1 of this HTML course, or I'm going to finish so and so topic on this Excel course. Then I'm going to build a small project or small product, throughout my learning process. Last but not least is to say that, okay, I'm going to read and implement one tutorial on APIs or anything that you are studying or working on. These are actionable goals, right? And they're very specific and very trackable. You can actually complete and tell yourself that, indeed, I told myself I'm going to complete lesson 1 or lesson 2 of this and that program, and I actually did it. This is going to boost your motivation as well. Remember, do not write and say, I'm going to learn Python or I'm going to learn Excel. No, you write and say that I am learning this and that topic under Excel. Very specific, because you cannot learn Python in 1 day. You can also not learn Excel in 1 day. The second thing, or the second step in here, is to block the time. Remember, the learning period is more like a meeting with your future self. It is a development process, a time you've set aside to build yourself, to build your career and develop yourself. So you have to treat it as a meeting. Don't treat it as just a me time. No, it is a me time, all right, but then it is a meeting with your future self. You are telling yourself that, okay, I'm building this skill, I'm working on this so that in 6 months to come, in 1 year to come, I am going to be a different person honing a different skill set. So treat that time as a meeting with your future self. Do not trade anything for it. If something else comes in, remember, you do not have to cancel. You only have to schedule it just within the same day. You make sure that you follow the minimum viable session principle. The third step is this: designing your learning session. When you sit down to learn, make sure you have a structured learning session, structured template that you are following. Remember, you can go like this: 5 minutes warm up or recap, then you do 10 to 15 minutes of whatever lesson that you have to do. You can do another 10 minutes of a project, then you end it there. When you end it there, you have to keep notes. Tell yourself or ask yourself, what have I learned? What new thing did I try? And what am I going to do next? When you have this done, the next time you sit down to learn, you are not now going to plan because you have already left a breadcrumb. You know that this is where I got to the last time, this is what I completed, this is what I achieved, and so this is what I'm coming to do now. So building your learning session, designing the proper learning session is very, very important. As a matter of fact, it is the engine of your whole learning system. Now, we need to also track and review your progress. You can use systems like Google Docs, simple Microsoft Documents. You can use your notes right? To tell yourself what you have studied, what you have covered so far, and then what is next that you have to do. You can document the projects that you have built and then use it even as a portfolio. All right, so you can do this every 2 to 4 weeks and tell yourself, okay, this is what I achieved in week 1, this is what I have achieved in week 2, this is what I have achieved in week 3, this is what I have achieved in week 4. Moving on to the second month, this is what I'm going to do. This system is not fixed. You only have to adapt it and then customize it to fit your own life. Now, let's take some examples. I have 3 scenarios for 3 different people. Mr. K. Mr. K works at the ministries. He lives in Dodowa. Now, realistically, Mr. K only happens to have just 30 minutes free time in a day because of the long commute time from house to the office and then back to the house again. He only has 30 minutes. Mr. K wants to develop his Excel skills so that he will be able to improve his reporting and other things in the office. Now, he sits down one Sunday and tells himself that he has Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays free time. So he only has 8:30 to 9 o'clock p.m. on these days, right? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays to study. Then on Sundays, he has a free time where he can do 1 hour extended because it's a Sunday. So with this, approximately, Mr. K can do 3 to 4 hours per week. And if he keeps that going on between 3 to 6 months, he would have unrecognizable skills by 6 months. This is the first scenario. Now, the second scenario is Chris A. Chris A is a student. Now, between his classes, Chris A identifies 30 minutes break and sometimes 45 minutes break in his classes where he can capitalize on and study. So with this, he plans that where he has 45 minutes, he's just going to take 30 minutes out of that time. Where he has 30 minutes, he's going to take 20 minutes out of that time to study. So let's just say Chris A wants to learn web development. He's going to start off with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. He takes the first 1 month and then dedicates 20 minutes and then the 30-minute intervals that he has to study HTML topically, such that for each session, he knows exactly what he's going to do. Chris A is going to try very well not to overschedule himself. He's going to pick 1 track at a time and then make sure it is well completed. Then we have the last scenario, which is Madam Pat. Madam Pat is a parent and also a secretary. Madam Pat really has a very tight schedule because when he comes home, she has to take care of her kids. And so there is no time, very limited time. She sat down and realized, okay, she can only do 20 minutes for 2 days in a week. This is what Madam Pat decides. She's going to do what we call a micro-stepping. She's going to read just 1 page of a particular tech book a week. Or she's going to watch just a very short episode, let's just say 20 minutes or 10 minutes of a short tutorial video in a week. That should be more than enough for Madam Pat to consistently follow her learning schedule so that by the end of 6 months or 1 year, she would have gotten enough skills in tech. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say clearly that the moment you decide to learn tech or you decide to build your skills or upgrade your skills in tech, you are already doing something very brave. Know that you are not really competing with the people who already have enough time or who have better computers or whatever it is. You are simply competing with yourself. Those who succeed in tech are not really the smartest. No, I wouldn't say that. Those who succeed in tech actually are the people who keep learning, who keep showing up even when things are tough. So you need to adapt these skills, pick up this pattern, and then customize it so that it fits your own. The goal really isn't to finish a course. The goal is to really master something, is to keep learning and applying whatever it is that you learn on a daily basis in your line of work. Here's my challenge for you. Right after this program or right after this episode, I want you to tell yourself or decide on which particular tech skill you are going to go into. Pick 3-minute slots in any day of your choice within the week. Dedicate a learning plan, dedicate time, and then make sure that you are completing each and every day. This is the right way to get into tech and upgrade your skills. Under this video, we have shared with you a Google Docs, which we have provided a template of a scheduled learning plan that you can pick up and adjust based on your own learning needs. Remember, if you want us to discuss more topics like this, I want you to hit the subscribe button, like this page, and then share with your friends who will be interested in topics like this. Also, let me know in the comment section what other topics you would want us to discuss in the next episode of Models and Mindset, a tech podcast with Ben. Thank you, and catch you in the next episode.